Hi, the purpose of this screencast is to show an effectively designed learning unit in Blackboard. And the example I'm using here is in UC San Diego extension course called Microbiology Fundamentals to Application. So this is the page, the home page of the course, as you can see, and there is a variety of buttons here to access the course. However, and this is something I explain to my students even before course starts, lessons is a good place to start, as all materials are organized weekly, and then whenever they enter through this weekly folder, they have access to materials, discussion board, different assignments, etc. So as you can see, in order to make an effective learning unit, we want for each unit to have a short description, and I give this description two ways. So usually there is a description in the general weekly folder description, what is going to happen, and I'm going to show you here. I'm taking week 2 because week 1 is more of an introductory week. It's introductions and a little bit more getting to know each other, so it's not as a typical week as the rest. So as you can see here, I also have always a welcome video for each week in which I kind of summarize what happened the previous week, and I also give some information and some general introduction to the coming week. So I tell them the learning objectives of the week, and as you can see here, the majority of the learning objectives are related to structure. So this is a microbiology course, and we are learning about microbes, and this is related to the structure of different kind of microbes. So some of the learning objectives are descriptive, so they need to be able to describe the structures. However, we do use some higher level learning objectives such as comparing and contrasting, and ideally we will try to relate and assess what structures are involved in biological functions of the microbes, and actually this is something that will be developed deeper as we advance in the course. So this is a learning objective of the week, but it will become an overarching goal of relating structure and function. So I have the learning objective of this week, and then the tasks are up here, and there are 3 tasks. So they have a let me start with this one here. So they have a quiz, and this is a 10-question quiz. So it's a typical summative assessment, and I will show a little bit how it goes. Then I have 2 more formative assessments. So one of them is a discussion board. Actually, this one is not even graded. It's a little bit of a reflective assignment, as they will have later on in the course a first assignment which is called the microbe of your preference, of my favorite microbe. So in this first or second week, I asked them to choose a microbe and explain why they have chosen this particular microbe, and then the assignment will be later on a wiki page. And here is I would say semi-formative assessment, and that is a case study. It has some questions, but because of the Voicethread format, it becomes a little bit more collaborative, so the students have to listen or read each other's posting, and also has some open-ended questions. So now entering into the actual week, so you see here it starts with the materials that are available for the student to study. So in the syllabus they will have pages telling them readings, but they also have a recorded lecture. They can listen to it if they prefer listening, but also they have it available as a handout of a PowerPoint, and many students say that they like that. As I was saying, the the Voicethread is based on a case study. So, and actually this is a case study of several parts, and there's a whole rationale about how this works. So the case study, it's a story about an alien microbe. So it's not a real story, but it has a very good relationship with the learning process. So it goes from describing the microbe, describing the structural features of the microbe, describing the functional characteristics of the microbe, and it goes finally to an application question, and how can you destroy that microbe. And so this is a case study that we go over for several weeks, and it always kind of attaches or aligns with the learning objectives, structure, function, and then the week that we are studying, you know, sterilization, decontamination, and so on. So the students will have access to the PDF file of the case study. Just it's kind of loading, and it's, as I said, it's a shared case study. It's a repository of case studies that people can use for their classes. So this is a PDF file, so they are going to read this PDF file. Here are the Voicethread instructions kind of briefly, and then a more detailed file with Voicethread instruction and links to how to do the Voicethread. And once the students are ready, they will access here the Voicethread activity, and then you see here, this is how the Voicethread is done, the tips, a little bit of introduction, and then the actual questions, which you know, here it has already happened. The students have been commenting on this, and some of these questions are kind of right or wrong answers, but because there are many different answers, each student gets to say something. And finally I have a open-ended question, so open a little bit the possibilities of this particular topic. Okay, so going back here, oops, I closed this. We have that Voicethread, we have a quiz, and before I go on, so this is my favorite microbe. It's a formative assessment, in the sense that this is not an assessment, but it's a step towards an assignment that will happen later in the course. So this is a reflection of, you have to choose this microbe. Why did you choose your microbe? And it becomes kind of an interesting you know, discussion board. I choose this one because, and sometimes people reflect personally, I had this drug-resistant infection, or I have been involved in this project, or so on. And as I was saying, there is a quiz, so it's not available anymore because this already passed. Let me see if I can show you a little bit how the quiz goes. So if you go here to the test, so as you can see, it's a typical multiple choice quiz here. I try as much as I can to put diagrams in it, so it's not only text, and then there will be a correct and incorrect feedback, so the student can, you know, immediately figure out what did they do wrong. And last but not least, at the end of each week there is a survey. So as you can see here, I ask the students to rate the content of the week, the difficulty level of the week, and this is very important for me because this course tends to be to have a very heterogeneous student population. So I need to aim somewhere in the middle, so it cannot be too easy, but it cannot be too hard. So I kind of gauge the level of difficulty of the material based on these surveys and other kind of feedback. So how well or badly they did in the previous quizzes, I can adjust for the next week. And this is always good to have, you know, what was most interesting, useful, and what was the least interesting or useful. And because discussion boards especially, you can, you know, change them over very easily. This allows me to keep the students motivated and interested by asking this feedback. And this is also very good. Sometimes they have practical suggestions or comments, and it can be related to the website or can be related to the information. And these surveys are very useful for me. And I would sometimes put additional material, you know, more articles, videos, and, you know, more application or deeper information kind of material, because some of my students are professionals already working, so I have to give them a little bit more food for thought. And sometimes I will add interesting links. So I hope this explains more or less how the learning units are set up in this course. Thank you.